Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Sybil. I am the brand positioning queen, and today I'm going to talk about the 5 levels of visibility and how you can earn a really good income at all of the levels. And so often I work with women who are experts and they say, oh my gosh, Sybil, my dream is to go sit on Oprah's sofa. And I want to say, great, that is laudable. I love that dream for you. But understand that getting the Oprah sofa is a very coveted experience. It's a coveted process. And frankly, there are other sofas that are equally as beneficial today as Oprah's sofa was 20 years ago that are still going to get you the brand recognition that you desire, if that's the type of brand recognition you desire. So before we jump in, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe. A recent study that I ran across, and I'm going to pull up my paper because the teacher in me is leaping out onto YouTube. She tried to hide, but y'all, I have been an educator for almost 20 years. I needed a classroom if I was going to be on YouTube. So I'm so grateful that you all are allowing me, giving me the permission to be not behind a blackboard. The board used to be black. The whiteboard, the dry erase board, it is not yet hung because it is heavy. and I am living the whole I don't want to break anything life. So I'm going to get a professional to install this. So right now it's definitely leaning and tilting against my bookshelf, but I digress. But a recent Forbes article stated that 92% of B2B customers are willing to work with someone because they are more visible. Another article done by PwC said that when experts figure out how to become more visible, it can increase the reputation of their business by about 78%. I love those numbers. These are really good odds. And then I looked at another article that said that experts that are visible, and I'm talking about global scale visible, earn about 13 times more than the non-visible expert. But I want to suggest to you all today that you are already visible. There are 5 levels of visibility according to Hinge, and I love this article because it talks a lot about what I talk about. So to see that other experts are speaking about visibility in the same way with the same intention, it's a really good sign that this is a thing, this is a process. And it's one of the things that I help my clients with is developing visibility plans. So what is visibility? Visibility means this is how people see you. How public facing are you and your message and your brands? And experts have a really interesting opportunity and challenge to become visible. We also have to decide what level of visibility that we want. And so I'm going to lean into the work of another expert, the person who wrote this article, and talk about the 5 levels of visibility and how you can leverage each one of those levels while you are building your thought leadership brand. And the first thing that I want to suggest to you is not everyone has to be a global superstar, but number 2, you can earn a substantial living and still have a really solid product and still retain who you are, regardless of the level of visibility. And there are going to be sacrifices at every level. Depending on how long I talk today, we may or may not get into it. I might split this into like part A, part B. So we'll see how this video goes. All right. Y'all, I knew I was coming out the classroom, and then here I am again. I am at a dry erase with a whole marker. So 5 levels of visibility. Five levels of visibility. And if there is an echo, I promise that we are working through these things one by one, constantly improving. But level 1, I'm gonna put right here, level 1. And hopefully we can all see that. Yes, perfect. Level 1 is a resident expert, okay? Now, What does it mean to be a level 1 resident expert? That means that the people in your direct community know you. And so often when we are building our visibility plan, we forget that this has to be the foundation of how we build our visibility. Now, we always hear about these overnight successes. Of course, yes, there will always be anomalies to things, but overall, every single expert, every single visible brand started here. When you think about your favorite musician, when you think about your favorite brand or your favorite artist, they started here, right? Like when we think Boys to Men was singing in the bathroom at school before they became boys to men. So be mindful that you do not forget the foundation of being a resident expert, because this is going to help you figure out a couple of things that level 5 experts already have working on their behalf. And those things that you need to think about: how I'm going to teach, what message I'm going to share, and then who needs to hear from me. The most. I tell people all the time, who needs to hear from you the most? Who has the most urgency to hear from you is whose attention you're going to have. And this is from somebody who, like I said, has been an educator. And I've I've been in the classroom and I'm like, how will I teach this particular lesson today? What message am I going to share? I had to have a lesson plan, right? There's so many things people can learn from educators, but that is not this video. That is, anyway. Who needs to hear from me most? I taught economics. That means that the expectation when somebody came into my classroom was not that I'm going to talk about playing the harp. I'm here to talk about economics because the people who needed to hear from me the most were not music students. They were people who were enrolled in the business school. It would have been remiss of me to talk about anything outside of here's why economics matters if you decide to go into business, or here's how it's going to matter to you just as being a good human. So level 1 resident experts, this is your opportunity to test your content. I don't know how else to say that, but test your content here. This is your opportunity to test your content. I was recently talking to one of my clients, and she said, oh, I've got a referral for you, but it doesn't pay. And I said, okay, well, I'll look at it anyway. And she said, I thought you said you don't take unpaid engagements. I said, let me be clear. I get paid to speak, but I'm also smart enough to know that if I am testing a new message, proving a new theory, or introducing a new concept, the worst thing I can do is leverage my global platform with something that is not tried and true. Okay? That's not how you do things. So the best thing that I can do for me, and the best thing you can do for your brand, depending on, again, where you are in that visibility spectrum, is to take those community service opportunities to test out your jokes, test out your message. Is it landing with your target audience? Does your local audience even want it? If it doesn't work there, it's not going to work up here. So for those of us who are accustomed to getting paid to speak, those of us who are accustomed to be on national and global stages, do not ever forget that this resident expert opportunity is golden. It is golden to figure out what I'm supposed to be saying next. This is where I gather all my intel. Okay? If I want to know what's going on in the market before I go out and introduce a new speech, I go to the local so-and-so meeting. I will go to the chamber. I will go see what these business leaders are struggling with, so that I deliver a message that works for them, so I can deliver a message that works for everybody. Okay, Do not dismiss the foundational work. If you are a level 1 expert, do not discount that. Now, in terms of compensation at your level 1 expertise, you can easily earn a 6-figure income. You can easily hit that 6-figure income. Okay? You can easily earn that 6-figure income while you're in a corporation. It's what I did. I was earning multiple 6 figures. There goes the camera. The camera does not like it when I move a lot. I was earning multiple 6 figures as a resident expert in corporate. It is possible to earn an okay, I'm not saying you'd be knocking out the park, but you can earn multiple 6 figures as a level 1 resident expert. It is possible. Some highlights. This is where most people begin their careers, okay? Some people never leave this rank, and that is okay. They figured out how to build authority either in their industry that's local or in the business that they've known for 20 years. And this is where they are. And it is okay. It is still a good living. Do not discount the income that can be gained by being a resident expert. All right. So if you are a resident expert, and you want to try and level up, what you might be thinking is, how can I gain more recognition in the community on my local team? You might be asking yourself, what steps do I need to start taking to become more of a thought leader on my own outside of the business or industry that I am used to being in? You might be asking yourself, am I being effective in how I'm communicating my expertise within my known audience? And then how can I expand it to unknown audiences or new audiences? That's that brand pivot, right? So here's some actions you can start taking if you are a level 1 resident expert. Number 1, go volunteer. When I first left corporate, or when corporate left me, or when I realized I was expanding and growing and corporate was staying the same, I started volunteering. And I did not volunteer in my known area of expertise because that's not what I wanted to be known for anymore. So I went over to Dress for Success and I said, yep, I'll just be a career consultant. It's what I've done. I've got this background in HR. And then they said, well, here's a suite of everybody you can serve. And where I ended up serving was on the image consulting side. I thought to myself, wow, the woman who spent most of her adult career life in HR is about to go help people do the image thing. And I thought about why. And I said, well, because that's what I was also doing. I was also helping people show up for interviews, show up for themselves, show up differently, so that their best self presented themselves to the public facing. I was helping people build their LinkedIn profiles and pick pictures and do all this other stuff. And so where I ended up volunteering as a resident expert gave me the opportunity to fine tune those skills that I now leverage as a business owner. So if you are a resident expert and you're interested in either increasing the reach that you have or pivoting, volunteering is by far the best way to make that happen. Okay? The next thing you want to do is figure out some local industry publications or media outlets to contribute to. Now, I've been in the newspaper, the local newspaper, a time or two for one thing or another. My TEDx event did end up on the news in the newspaper. We also did some local periodicals. We were in a school newspaper, right? So there were some local things that were happening in the background. And again, yes, did it matter for a global presence? Absolutely. But it started at the local. Find those local events that you can go talk at. The Rotary Club is a great place to start. The church, if you are a believer like me, great opportunity to leverage what you already know or learn some skills that you need to learn so that you can advance to the next level. So, level 2, local hero. All right, so our local heroes are people who have figured out how to get active, right? You're no longer a resident expert. Now I am out in the community. I am volunteering. I am getting known as that person that speaks on these 2 or 3 things inside and outside of the organization that I work in. Maybe I started my business and now my opportunities here are expanded. So maybe you become a consultant to the businesses in your backyard. And so often we overlook this level because again, everybody want to be on Oprah's sofa. But I was talking to another consultant and she said that 90% of her business, y'all, this is the 9 and a 0, 90% of her business and business referrals came from people who already knew her in her backyard. 90%. So while we are up here trying to build our social media presence, this woman has figured out how to build a 7-figure business. I'm gonna write that down. I wish I had a green marker. I'm gonna find me a green marker. She built a 7-figure business by being a local hero. Does she have an online presence? Yes, she does. Does she push out content? Absolutely. But you can hit the 7-figure mark being a level 2 visibility expert. This is what I call the millionaire next door. Y'all, she's the millionaire next door. She's the millionaire next door because she figured out how to leverage her local hero status and started serving the business communities that she loves to serve and served at such a high level that they constantly refer her. Like her book of business is so big right now, she's turning people away and she hadn't even gone outside the 100-mile radius that she resides in. Again, we discount what already exists because we want what we think we are aspiring to be. She hasn't made any sacrifices, okay? She's not sacrificed any of her privacy, which is a concern that a lot of my experts have. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to build visibility. I won't lose my privacy. Y'all, she didn't lose no privacy, okay? And I will talk about privacy maybe in another video. If y'all want me to talk about how to carefully curate your content, just pop in the chat below and I will create a video on how the greats do it. How do these people not post going to the bathroom and they still have followers? Every time I see a bathroom post, I'm just like, ooh, you don't care, or is this your brand? I don't know. But she's a local hero. 90% of her business, 7-figure income by being the millionaire next door. This is possible to do by leveraging who you already are and who you already know in a way that makes sense for you. Okay? So if you are a local hero, some things you might be thinking about if you intend to expand your brand, if you intend to get more visibility, you might be thinking, well, are there regional or state events that I can attend? Absolutely. I recently spoke at our state SHRM. I recently spoke at a local NSBE chapter event. So there are always local events that you can participate in and speak at on behalf of you and your personal brand that will generate the type of revenue that you're desiring for your business. And the other thing that I want to talk about local heroes that people often forget, like I said, 90% of her business comes from that. And this math makes sense because as much as we need a digital presence, as much as we need to have this omnipresent experience, only about 7% of the people who know us online will regularly interact and engage and experience our content. The other 93% of the people, they're still cold audiences. They're still people who know you but don't like you but don't trust you but don't need you, whatever that case may be. Only about 7% of the things that we are doing online today. Now, the statistic surely could change in the next 6 months and then all of a sudden, but right, the odds are in your favor. If you are trying to hit that multiple 6 first 7, the odds are in your favor to become a really good local hero, to build that credibility in your community so that you are known as a thought leader and partner to those you serve in your sphere. Okay? So if you are a local hero and you're interested in leveling up, and I'm gonna grab me another color because, oh, here goes the plan. I'm gonna grab me another color, but some things you want to think about doing, again, finding those state organizations and associations that are local to you that you can go speak at, participate in, be a vendor in, let people know about you. Okay. Some other things you need to start doing is start leveraging testimonials. I work with so many female founders and they said, oh, yes, Sybil, I've been doing this forever. And I'm like, well, where are your testimonials? Ooh, I don't have any testimonials. Ooh, I forgot to ask. Y'all, this is why I love teaching economics. Because everything in society and business and in the world is math, right? The magic number is 25. You need to have 25 testimonials, and here is why. And I think I probably said this on another video, but 25, the aggregate of 25 means that if you get one bad review, you have 24 more to keep you above that line. And because my economics brain is not working right now, I can't remember what the proper term is. It literally is, it's the law of averages, right? So if most of your reviews are up here, right? Let's say you got a strong B and you're somewhere between that A and that B on your rating. The minute you get a D or an F, this will drop your average. This is why I tell my students every grade matters. Okay? Every review matters. One D or F, one star or 2-star review will drive this thing down. So you need at least 25 to buffer. Okay? This is your buffer. Every 25 reviews, you need to say, oh, good, I got another buffer. All right? But this is your base for buffering. Leveraging testimonials. Y'all know I love video testimonials, but there are also written text, social media recommendations. There's so many ways for us to get testimonials. The name of it, Google reviews, 25. Let that be your action item and your goal, your homework for today. All right. So I want to move from local hero to the next level. Attend those industry events that are state or local or regional. Figure out how to be a panelist, right? This is a great opportunity to be a panelist. I'm a panelist. This is a great opportunity to be a board member. I sit on the board of 2 organizations right now because I got to be known as a local hero for women in specific spaces. I got to be known as an advocate for nonprofits that support youth who are transitioning between that age of 18 to 30. And that's something that's really close to my heart. And so when this lady reached out to me and said, Sybil, would you like to be on the board of my nonprofit? I said, you don't know I've been stalking your nonprofit, trying to figure out how to get an introduction. And then here you are in my whole DM. Gladly I will, because it aligns with my brand and what I stand for.